What's up, everybody? You're back.
Yes.
While we were gone, I went into the halted stream camp, got some iron ore and the transmute spell. Made some stuff so I could make some ingots. You need gold and silver to make a lot of the pieces of Ashara's set, this Princess of the Woods, which I'm wearing the pants and boots and bracers right now, but there's a couple tops, a couple different combinations, so I thought we'd make a few of them. Things like thigh daggers and stuff like that. Almost kind of like a old-time Lara Croft look or something. I thought these were pretty cool. They go really well with this body mod, too, in my opinion. They don't look so out of place as to, make you stand out, too. I mean, it's one thing to wear a big Daedric bikini, but it's another to have some pretty cool, slick-looking clothing that doesn't look like, it's so out of place that someone wouldn't actually have this. Maybe a little light for the weather here, but I see people running around in fur armor, too. Like skimpy fur armor, like the Forsworn and stuff like that, so it's not so bad. Anyway, notice a lot of these take gold and silver ingots. This is the, Princess of the Woods mod? And there's, Jesus, like 300-something pieces here, so it's something ridiculous. And all kinds of different styles of boots, and the bracers. I think the bracers are cool. Even a cape. I'm not a big fan of capes, but for anyone who it is. And these all count as clothing, so it's good for a mage and good for what I'm doing here, kind of messing around with the alteration tree instead of going for, a basic light or heavy armor setup. I think we'll go with just simple. Now, there is a hood that comes with this set. Not a big fan of hoods either, especially not since I invested in a Hairdos mod. Finally get a decent hairstyle for my character. It'd be kind of a shame to cover that up. We've all played some games where it's better to cover up the hair, right? But with these mods, it actually gives hairstyles worth using. Some of them are a bit too, what would you say, luxurious, in vogue, fashionable for my taste. I think this one's pretty cool. Like I say, kind of almost a Lara Croft type thing. And I'm a Lara Croft fan anyways, so that works for me. So you can wear this top with pants. If you want to go skimpy, you could wear like the stockings and some boots or something, stockings and sandals, whatever. And there's the dress with the thigh dagger.
What can I do for you?
I work for Bellathor at the General.
See, I think that's pretty cool, and different combinations thereof. And of course, this one particular body mod just really makes it stand out. Also, there is a little bit of a clipping issue. That's because of the body mod, not because of the clothes. With weapons, I mean, I guess if you're going to have that much junk in the trunk, then things like this will happen. Oh well. That's something I can live with, to be honest. If you don't like the way your sword looks strapped on your back, then pull it out and use it more. There you go. That's my advice. On the way to High Hrothgar, 7,000 steps, I noticed the nighttime sky here, and this is one of my favorite things. The clarity of the moons. When the northern lights, when the Aurora Borealis or whatever comes out, it really lights up too. If you thought they glowed and were all pretty and everything before, they're honestly even better. They aren't out at this particular moment, obviously, but they do look really, really good. I'm sure we'll catch them if we haven't seen them already in a previous video. I like the soft lighting on the ground from the torches. Everything seems softer and more natural looking. Even the mountains off in the distance. I mean, look at that. Just the clarity. It looks like a bright, sunny day. Well, it always looked like a bright, sunny day in Skyrim. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying the vivid texturing of the trees, the softer lighting, the softer shadowing. There's not so much pixelating or aliasing or whatever you want to call it. Whatever, the shadows are fuller and smoother and look more just more natural. And then the details and everything from the steps to the rocks, the rock faces on the walls, and the bushes and the plants now have more depth and stuff. And so, setting this side by side with the original, I think you'd see quite a few differences. Obviously, I don't have the split screen thing up here to do that, but if you did, there would be a fast improvement with how this looks.
God damn you!
I'd like to soul trap this spider. I don't really feel like wasting any potions right now, though. See if I can get my magic back before this thing dies. I need some Magicka regen. I don't have anything enchanted right now. I could use a couple Magicka regen enchantments and some two-handed damage enchantments. That keeps it pretty simple, actually. Now, one thing to this mod is there's a few extra pieces. If you think about it, your average armor set would have... Oh, look at that. Look at how far you can see in the distance and the detail that are still in the mountains. You can even see the horizon on the sea from here. It's not just all kind of blurred out. It's not all vague. There's actually some detail there. I think that's really cool. With this armor set, you have more than just a regular armor set, which would be armor, gloves, boots, and a helmet. Well, in this, you can have a hood, which I'll eventually get a circlet. I'm a big fan of circlets. But the armor has been split up into, what, stockings and or a thigh strap knife, you know, the thigh dagger, the armlets, and then the armor itself. So you're really turning one piece into three, and you still get boots and hands. So there's two extra pieces to enchant, and it's all enchantable. So for integrity's sake, I won't be enchanting a couple of these pieces. They're just for appearances. Like the dagger and the armlets, I won't enchant those. I'll just enchant the gloves, the boots, and the armor, and a circlet. And that's fair. That's balanced. And everything else that my character's wearing is just for appearance, which is what mods are for me. They're for aesthetics. I'm not looking for ways to alter gameplay or break the balance of the game any worse than it already is. That's not my thing. And as smart as a lot of these modders are, especially in making things that look really, really good, I don't know that I would trust them to be so familiar with the game mechanics as to be able to do things that they're doing, like creating new perks, new perk trees, and all this kind of stuff without breaking the game. I mean, true enough, it's more reasonable to be skeptical of Bethesda these days, to think that, yeah, maybe they, did kind of drop the ball a little bit on things like, balance, combat numbers and stuff like that. But still, it's their balance, and I don't know that players could come in and not maybe mess that up a little bit worse. The question was posed to me as to what I thought about, the perk mods, where they've added perks to the skill trees and made things, and I'd be skeptical of any of that. Is it things to add new perks to where you have unlimited carry weight and you do even more damage and stuff like that? I would like to see the perks broken down now. And I don't know that there's not a mod for this, where the maximum level for a perk is the same as it is. In other words, split the tree up a little bit more and divide some of the perks up to different effects. In other words, like one that, say you got your standing attacks do 25% more damage and have a chance to decapitate. Split that into two perks, so it takes an extra level. Give the player an excuse to continue leveling, and maybe even make it to where if you reach the natural cap of 81, you can't possibly get all the perks. I would be down with something like that. Now that makes sense to me. Would that mess the balance up a little bit earlier? I think it'd make it more challenging. Instead of 5 perks, to get 100% bonus damage, 4 or 5 perks to get 100% bonus damage, you had more like 8 or 10 perks. Save for your primary weapon or whatever spells you're using and stuff like that. I think that would probably affect mages most, because magic, until you've got everything buffed, can tend to be a little bit underpowered at times, especially on legendary difficulty. Mages tend to hit you a whole lot more harder than you hit them with their fireballs, right? And their ice storms. Everyone hates the ice mages on legendary. Just some thoughts. Notice the lightning and all that in the background, and the heavy rain pour. Man, this is I believe this weather mod is responsible for the skies too. The change in the sky background, they went ahead and threw that in with it. And I'm really happy with that. I do not want to change that. There may be better out there, but I think I'll go with this. And all the different combinations of skies. From full cloud cover, skimpy clouds, heavy rain, light rain, full-blown thunderstorms, blizzards, to light snowfall. And the snowflakes look, you know, they dance around a little bit in light snowfall, and then they just blow right by you. And then if you're looking right into them, there's even a setting to where it messes up your vision. I think that's really cool. Notice the extra cloud cover around the mountains in the distance. Man, I love that. It makes them look like they're high, like they're at a really high altitude, which is, I think, the effect they were going for anyway. So I think that's really neat. Now, those familiar with these emblems would know that you get a bonus from reading all of them. I think that says a couple things. Some interesting basic facts with these emblems that Paarthurnax, along with, I believe it says here, Kine, right? So how that's associated with Akatosh or Kinnereth or what, I'm not exactly sure how their whole deity system goes in Elder Scrolls. I don't know that some of the temples are either. You know, they're confused between the 8 and the 9, and that's mostly due to the Thalmor's policies, their insecurities regarding Talos. But I remember this going back to Oblivion. The temple where Martin turns into Akatosh is called the Temple of the One. And so are the 9 divines just characteristics, personality traits. What would you say? Kind of like fingers on the hand, although that would make 10 instead of 9, I guess. But whatever, you know, of one god, so to speak. You have essentially one deity with lots of different faces. And could you say the same about, you know, the Daedra? Also, would they? I don't know. They warn fight too much to not be different entities altogether. Not really sure. Anyway, but I notice on one of these emblems it talks about this god or the gods themselves working with Paarthurnax to help man defeat the dragons. And so that not only is a hell of a resume for Paarthurnax to show you that he's a good guy. I don't know what he was before the gods touched his heart and changed his nature, I guess. And he even talks to you about that, changing your nature through great effort or whatever, as opposed to never being wrong in the first place. And I kind of agree with him. I can respect that, you know. It's one thing for someone to have never faced any trials and they're just an alright guy. It's another thing to have made your share of mistakes and then through great effort corrected them and become a better person. That is respectable. You know, Paarthurnax is just cool. Old Party Snacks, he's like one of my favorite, if not my favorite NPCs in the game. And he grins at you when he talks to you, so I just think that's the coolest shit. And it also talks about once men had defeated the dragons, they formed the first empire under Tiber Septim. And Tiber Septim being the first of the Dragonborn, which is what your character is playing here. As the Dragonborn come, and are you the beginning of a new age, the ending of an age, in this case, hopefully not involving the world being destroyed by the return of the dragons wanting to reestablish what they consider their rightful place in the world, right? That, you know, anyone who resists is just arrogant and needs to be taught a lesson. Well, man has something to say about that. And so, around this time that Alduin pops up, well, here comes the Dragonborn. So, do we form a new empire? Because the old empire is dead. Those who follow the empire here in Skyrim, well, I'm sorry for you guys. Go back and pay some attention to the lore. And just relearn what you think you knew, because there is no empire in Skyrim. You have a Thalmor front. You have Thalmor allies, basically a military hand to steal the money and taxes from the provinces to weaken the empire even further and support the Thalmor war effort to eventually destroy all mankind, if they had their way. I think we'll have something to say about that in the next Elder Scrolls or two. I'm guessing that the Thalmor rearing their ugly head here is a sign of things to come. They certainly aren't going away. Their interest in the Eye of Magnus, if you follow the useless-ass Mages Guild, college quest line, which I can't stand that quest line, but there may be some little bits of lore trivia hidden in there that might actually be significant in the next Elder Scrolls, I'm guessing. Other than that, the Nords don't have much use for magic and all that. So I think the college is basically an afterthought. Those stupid mages up there in their college need to go just stay up there and mind their own business, and we'll tolerate them as long as they stay out of our hair. That seems to be the general Nord attitude, right? But I wonder. Anyway, so I was impressed with the snow flowing across the ground here. It doesn't look so hard and streaky. I think that the graphic, the animation, if you will, is better. I think the rendering and detail in all of the surface textures and stuff like that, and everything from the snow to the plants to the rocks to the you name it, coming up here. The natural lighting or lack thereof with the thunderstorm going on, the sound effects of heavy rain and the lightning and all that. I'm really, really happy with this. And I have tweaked a mod or two. Since making this, we will see some changes coming up. A couple that I found useless that I really wasn't using. A weapon mod and a children overhaul mod that I really don't like the results that it was giving me and stuff like that. So we'll look into that in a little bit. And no real aesthetic changes as far as the looks go, except to the kids, who I thought looked fine before. I don't like the adult faces that mod gives, but that's my own personal taste. Some of you may be really, really happy with the child overhaul mod. Great, cool. But it's not my thing. Anyway, so we went through the whole Dragonborn thing. I'm not dragging you guys through a lot of that. I just wanted to look around here. There's the path leading up to Paarthurnax. See, like, the snow blowing off the edge of the cliff. I don't know if you guys noticed, but before, originally, that snow would be like hard lines. It didn't really look like snow. You could just tell by the graphic what it was supposed to be. And now it looks like a snowy type of mist, actually running off the edge of the, edge of the cliffs and stuff like that, and the edge of the rocks. It's very cool. One thing that doesn't seem to have changed a whole lot, though, is when you actually receive a dragon soul, or whatever you want to call this, where we're going to gain knowledge from this guy, the same thing that you get from a dragon. That looks about the same to me. I don't think that's changed much. Also, they advertised with Special Edition that they would be changing some of the lighting and the natural glow of like magics and stuff. And other than fire, which seems to be smoother and more realistic looking, I don't see a lot of changes. But I think it's subtle. I think it's just in the soft lighting, like when you throw a fireball or something, when it flies down the hallway, it lets off a light of its own and shows along the walls and stuff. I think that's what they were concentrating on. So very nice. You can almost see the curvature of the earth. Almost. It looked like it. Wow. I wonder if that was intentional. Now, inside the Greybeard's temple itself, look at the detail in the rock. To me, this looks more defined. It really does. It looks more like natural stone. This place was cool before, but it seems to be more, what's the word, rendered, I guess? Whatever. The texturing and stuff just looks like, yeah, it looks like actual rock and stuff. Very cool. Definitely happy with this. Okay, so we have our duty set to go, I don't know, get the Hornet Jurgen Windcaller stuff. I still have to make a stop at Windhelm. I'd kind of like to see some of the cities. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily doing a playthrough. I just want to see the... Oh, look at the frost on the chest. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Little details that just add to the overall experience. That's very cool. Maybe we'll go look at one of the major cities or something. The frost coming out of the... There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful looking characters, really cool outfits, cool weapons, nice effects, beautiful water. It's amazing. All right, well, we'll go see what there is to see on the next one. Anyway, that's what we're doing is we're sightseeing. We'll call this the Sightseeing series. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.